Hello there and welcome to Simon's Shed. It's time for another layout update, and I can't do my normal introduction where I stand over here and give you the what's coming up bit, because it's full of all kinds of toys and junk, because we've had to clear out a couple of rooms in the house because we're having a bit of DIY done, and we need to clear it out for a birthday party for my son, so I'm sure you won't mind too much if you don't have to see my ugly mug saying what's coming up, but we'll get straight on with the update. The first thing is there was a bit of a storm, and part of the felt blew off the roof, and I've got a bit of footage about that, so I'll show you that now. Hello and welcome to Simon's Shed Storm Edition. We are behind the shed now, and you can see there a big pile of felt which used to be on top of here. You can see there where it's just ripped off. Oh, that's better. You can see how windy and rainy it is out there. So as I say, yeah, we've had the top sheet of felt ripped off the shed by the wind. It's just completely torn the felt. I can't see any leaks at the moment. Fortunately, I had an underlay of I think it's called underfelt, so that's currently stopping the water getting in, but we have got a sheet of felt missing from the roof, so I have declared a state of emergency within the shed and started evacuation procedures. Managed to do that just before it started raining, so that's where the layout was. I've now got it safely in the house, just in case, because we don't want another major disaster. So I'm going to have to get some more felt and nail it down more securely, I think. I think if it was going to get ripped off again, it would happen now, so it's looking good. So yes, I did have to move the whole layout down to the house. I was quite impressed with how well stuck down everything was. I just picked the whole thing up and obviously removed all the cars and stuff that was loose first, but everything else it was glued down, so yeah, it survived being hauled all the way down to the house and being propped up in a corner. Actually, it was quite good. It did allow me to do some work on it in the house without having to trudge up to a cold shed. So I'll tell you all the little bits and bobs that I've done. Let's start over here. I've repaired that back scene. So just this little square here was a bit water damaged, so that's repaired now, and it had also gone onto the pavement. I had to paint over the scale scenes pavement with just a grey, dark grey paint, but I think that's come out okay. So yeah, I had to take everything off there and repaint, but that's all fixed now. Basically I've done loads of little bits, just finishing bits off. So I'll whiz through those. We've got some telegraph poles down there, which adds a little bit of height to it. Adds a little bit of detail. I've glued the signal box down over here, as I said I was going to do, and grassed around that. Oh yeah, the brewery car park. I've done a bit of work on that. So we've made some sort of islands there for the cars to go around with some car parking spaces, just with the scale scenes pavements and a bit of earth scatter underneath the trees. Fenced this area off and grassed behind it. Dotted a few clump foliage bushes around, so all that's static grass now. And move the barrels over to that corner. For the lines for the parking space, I've given up trying to paint straight lines, so I actually cut the thinnest bit of paper. Just cut a really thin strip of paper and just chopped it up and just glued it down, and that's come out far better than my attempts at painting it anyway, far straighter in terms of the lines there for the car parking spaces. I have got some new cars as well. We've got Capris and Cortinas. There's a Graham Farish ones, there's another one there, and some Oxford die-cast cars as well, such as this little Austin service van, this little Castrol truck over there. Let's move him forward a bit, there we go. So there's that. So we've got quite a few new vehicles, and just moved the flatbed over to here, delivering some supplies to the brewery. And the little post van's about to pull out as the bus goes past, which leads me on to the bus stop. So I just printed out the scale scenes roads and pavement bus stop markings for the floor, and just went round the edge of that. It's literally cut there, there and there, and just went round the edge with a grey felt pen, and I don't think you can really tell that it's a separate piece stuck on top. It's blended in really well. And I've done the pavements and a bit of static grass around there, sort of blended it all in, and also built the scale scenes. It's actually a station platform waiting shelter, but I'm just using it as a bus shelter. It's quite a big bus shelter, but I think it looks okay. So yeah, built that, and that's all stuck down. So that's that little part of the scene done. And done a bit more grass and bushes around here. Speaking of which, I've dotted quite a few more bushes around the whole layout. It's given me an opportunity, with it being in the house, to have a close look at everything, and it looks kind of different under the lights in the house, so you see things that you don't see in here. So I've used the bushes to sort of hide the ugly bits to cover things up. For example, you'll notice that every point just happens to have a little bush growing at the side there to hide the hole that I had to drill for the point motor arm. So yeah, it just so happens that a bush grew in every single one of those, conveniently, to hide the hole. I've fixed loads of bits of ballast that were chipping away, and you can see some grey splotches that were to hide bits, like I think there was some white bits there that I painted over. And then in the daylight, I did that at night under the artificial lights in the house, and it looks a completely different colour in the daylight, but we'll have to call that a bit of weathering. Never mind, we can easily fix that later. Yes, I forgot about my stone walls. These are Jarvis Scenics stone walls. They were very light, so I stuck them down and decided they were much too light and painted them over with just acrylic paint and tried to blend them in at the bottom. So I've kind of got some scenery over the whole of the baseboard. Still some things to do, but getting towards the more sort of finishing off bits, which leads me on to the edges of the sides of the layout. You can see I've just painted the baseboard black all along there, along the sides, and I've sanded and varnished the wood at the sides as well. I prefer to just see it as the wood grain rather than paint the whole thing. I think it looks quite nice seeing the wood grain. Popped a bit of varnish on there, and I think that looks a bit better, a bit more finished. What else have we got? I've bought one or two odds and ends as well. Now these, because as I said, I moved the layout to the house and I was sort of carrying things back and forward. It's quite difficult to carry your stock without damaging it, so I got these stock boxes off eBay. They were a tenner each, as near as makes no difference. If you search for plastic storage box and foam tray, they all come up there. I think they do them in 00 as well, but obviously got the N-gauge one, and you've got 8 little slots there. They do various different size slots, but yeah, they're pretty good. What I might do is I've sort of glued the, because when you get them they're loose and this whole foam thing comes out of the box, but I've glued this one to the back of the box so that perhaps I can put some kind of rail on the wall and sort of slide it into the rail and sort of almost use it as a display thing while I'm not using those locos, so I can sort of slide it in and out. So that's that, and I finally got around to getting a wheel cleaner for the stock as well, the Woodland Scenics Roto wheel cleaner one, which is pretty good so far. So I think what I'm going to do next is fit a couple of signals. I'm not going for, you know, a realistic, you know, there would be a signal here, 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 there. I'm going for more of a just put a couple of signals in just as a representation, mainly because I don't want to start ripping things up and moving things about at this stage. I think I can fit a couple in, one for each main line if you like, so one for each loop, and I think this outer loop train should be going this way, so the signal I believe should be, or is usually, on the left hand side of the track. So if I just move this bit of fence, I can put one there, and I'm going to link it to, if you follow it around to this point, so when this point is thrown so that trains can pass through it and continue on the loop, that signal will be clear, and when it flicks that way so that trains can come out of these sidings, it will change to stop. So I'm going to control it with that point using the DCC decoder, accessory decoder that's stuck underneath the baseboard, and yeah, I'll just use the same output as the, well, I need to figure out how to do it first, but I'm just going to use the same accessory decoder as the point. So one there, and I think for the inner track, which train should be going anti-clockwise, I can't remember where I was going to put it. Oh yes, I think I was going to put it in here. So try and squeeze it in between there somewhere, so that if a train is on the main line coming up here, it has to stop here if this point would stop it. So if that point is thrown that way to let a train out of the sidings, then obviously this signal back here is going to be stop, and if it's thrown that way so it can continue around the loop, it would be clear. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. But for now, thanks very much for watching. Like, subscribe and all that kind of stuff, and I will see you soon.